Imagine waking up one morning in the year 2030 and realizing that half the things around you were predicted decades ago. Some brilliant, some terrifying, and some so bizarre that they feel straight out of a sci-fi movie. Today we're diving into the strangest real predictions experts, scientists, futurists, and even politicians made about the world in 2030. These aren't fan theories. These are actual predictions people made. So let's jump straight into the future, because things get weird very, very fast. Back in 1930, British politician Frederick Smith predicted that our first 6 attempts to send humans to Mars would fail, with astronauts missing the planet entirely and disappearing forever in space. Basically, the worst space horror movie ever, but real life. NASA scientist Ellen Stoffen predicted that in the 2030s, we'll finally find evidence of alien life, not little green men, but microbial life, fossils, or chemical traces, still enough to completely rewrite our understanding of the universe. Danish politician Ida Auken described a 2030 future where nobody owns a house, a car, or even clothes. Everything is rented, shared, or delivered on demand. Some people call it convenient. Others call it the beginning of a dystopian Netflix episode. Futurists suggest that by 2030, advanced AI and surveillance systems will solve more than 90% of all crimes. Imagine a city where cameras predict crimes before they happen, like living in a detective movie. Except you're the suspect 24/7. The World Economic Forum predicts that waiting for organ transplants will basically disappear. Need a kidney? Just print one. It's like a 3D printer, but for human parts. Totally not creepy at all. A few climate scientists, including Valentina Zharkova, claim that around 2032, the sun enters a grand solar minimum, causing temperatures to drop worldwide. Snow in London? Sure. Snow in New York? Every day? Apparently yes. Winter goes full DLC mode. The UN and Bank of England predict that by 2030, most developed countries will have no physical money. No coins, no bills, just digital payments, eye scans, and maybe even microchips. Even public toilets might charge you with a retinal scan. Imagine failing to pee because your bank app crashed. Reports from Oxford and the UN suggest that many countries will ban beef and lamb completely. Not for health, but for climate reasons. Goodbye, real hamburger. Hello, 3D printed protein that tastes kinda similar. Elon Musk's Neuralink predicts that by 2032, the first people with brain internet implants will be walking around. Search Google by thinking. Text your friend without touching your phone. Upload memories like files. Basically, humanity turns into Wi-Fi. Because of rising sea levels, countries like the Maldives and the Netherlands are working on floating cities. The first one, with about 100,000 people, is expected by 2030. Homes, schools, parks, all floating. Basically Waterworld, but less depressing. A US security report says that by 2030, drones, sensors, smart homes, and AI surveillance will make privacy almost impossible. No dark corners, no secrets, not even in your own home. Privacy becomes a myth, like offline mode. Longevity scientists predict that by 2030, aging will no longer be considered a natural process, but a treatable condition. With gene therapy and anti-aging drugs, humans may live up to 120 years in perfect health. Companies like Altos Labs, backed by Jeff Bezos, are already working on reversing aging at the cellular level. In Saudi Arabia, the futuristic city The Line is planned to open by 2030 with 1 million residents. A 170-kilometer-long urban line with no cars, no streets, and zero pollution. AI manages everything, from climate to transportation. Food is grown locally. Energy is fully renewable. But here's the weird part. Some people say it feels like a high-tech dystopia with almost no privacy. By 2030, as the number of satellites increases, scientists expect more space debris, rocket parts, metal fragments, to burn through the atmosphere and fall like man-made meteors. Early warning systems will improve, but the risks of damage rise dramatically. Imagine a piece of rocket crashing through your roof. Several futurists and biologists, including David Pearce, predict that by 2030-2035, natural pregnancy in developed countries may be considered unsafe and unethical, and banned altogether. Instead, babies would be grown in artificial wombs, fully genetically optimized. No pain, no complications, and children become designed humans. Countries like Switzerland and the Netherlands are testing sarcopods, capsules that allow painless voluntary death in under 30 seconds. By 2030, many nations may give people over 60 the legal right to choose their own peaceful exit. Their motto, the right to die with dignity. Due to diseases, environmental laws, and high costs, futurists predict that by 2030, having real cats or dogs may become rare and even restricted. Instead, people will buy robotic pets with realistic fur, emotions, and AI personalities. They never get sick and never die. Some radical feminists and futurists claim that by 2030, because of diseases, the Me Too movement, and ultra-realistic VR experiences, real sexual interactions will be seen as risky and outdated. Most people may prefer VR headsets and haptic suits instead of real partners. Harvard University and Colossal Biosciences plan to bring back the woolly mammoth by 2030-2032, followed by a genetically edited dino chicken. After that, miniature raptors and small T-Rex-like creatures could appear in high-security biozoos. Concerts, classrooms, business meetings, and even romantic dates may all use full-body holograms. You could sit in your apartment in Tokyo, and a life-size hologram of your friend in Canada would appear in your living room. You could even shake hands using haptic gloves that simulate touch. So yeah, 2030 is only a few years away, and if even half of these predictions come true, the world is going to look very different. Which one of these predictions shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments, because honestly, some of these sound like science fiction, some sound like nightmares, and some sound kinda awesome. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss future videos on tech, science, and the strange world we're heading into. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the future.